So let's talk about over the road trucking, OTR. Is over the road trucking for you? Right? Now, first thing is, if you're new to truck driving, for the most part, you're gonna have to be OTR. Now, unless you know somebody or you got some type of connections or something like that, if you go to any one of the big mega carriers, for the most part, you're gonna have to be OTR, at least for 6 months to a year. Maybe even 3 months, depending. Like I said, you can find local jobs, so on and so forth, potentially. But normally, people want 3 to 6 to 12 months worth of experience before they'll hire you for a local job. Now, with OTR, keep in mind that you're going to be out for weeks and months at a time. It really just depends on whatever carrier or whatever company or carrier you go to. It depends on their standards and or their minimums. Some places, a lot of places is like you out for a week, you get 1 day home. Some places I've seen where you get 1.5 days per week. I've even seen with some companies you get 2 days per week. So it really just depends on, what company you go with. So like I said, you're gonna be out for, weeks at a time. You can do, let's say if you get a week off or a day off for every week, you come home every 2 weeks, you only gonna basically get home on the weekends. Then with that too, from my experience, in order for you to make any type of decent money, you need to be out for at least 3 weeks, really a month minimum, to make a decent amount of money. Now, so you're gonna be away from home for a very long time, you know. So if you got family, kids, stuff like that, they're gonna get acclimated to that. You're gonna have to also, one thing that's important is plan. So you're gonna have to know truck stops and stuff like that, the way you need to stop, from your destination, from your pickups and your receivers, so on and so forth. You need to know that information too. That's something that you're gonna have to plan. You have to plan to, of course, take showers at, Love's, Pilots, so on and so forth. You're also gonna have to do laundry. You got to do laundry as well at these truck stops, or you might have enough clothes to where you only have to wash when you take home time. It just depends. So keep in mind with that, like I said, you're gonna be away from family for an extended amount of time. You're also going to be family, friends, home for extended amount of time. You're gonna have to find truck stops and sleep, of course, in your truck for extended amount of time. Also do laundry, at truck stops, for extended amount of time as well. Um, what else? You got to deal with the mental aspect of it, right? Because being on the road, regardless of if you are the type of person who's likes to be by themselves, an introvert or extrovert, whatever it is, if you're prone to not minding being by yourself, it's easier than if you're the type to be or like to be around people, you know. But even if you are the type to like to be by yourself, um, the most interaction you may have is with people within that truck stop. So even with that, that's gonna wear on your mind. You're gonna start to see um, where, especially in the age of social media, you're gonna start to see friends, family, associates, see them having a life per se, going out doing things. I know even personally with me, I missed um, life, or should I say people who passed, you know. Of course, if it's somebody that you really, really know, like an immediate family member, cousin, best friends, something like that, you'll make a way, regardless of what the company says, tell them about it and get your ass home, you know. But I have like one of my friends, one of my good friends, his father's passed. Another one, um, auntie passed while I was on the road. So things like that are going to happen. If you're going to be over the road, so just be prepared for that. Also, something you need to prepare for is, or keep in mind, as far as health, right? So with me, I've been the type to where been working out for years now, um, especially starting in like 2019. I went real hard 2019, 2020, 21. Went kind of hard. So, health has always been a focal point for me. So keep in mind that your health can potentially decline. Because for one, you're sitting down for 8, 9, 10 hours at a day. Once you're done with those 10 hours or so, if you're tired, you've been driving 500, 600 miles, you just want to go to sleep, you know. So your health can potentially decline. Then you add that on top of the fact that you go to these truck stops and you eat those corn dog looking things that's been on there for Lord knows how long, which they do have healthier benefits such as salads. That's what I would get, especially when I was training. I would get salads, buy nuts, fruit, so on and so forth. But for the most part, you have your Hardee's or whatever it's called, Carl Juniors, McDonald's, stuff like that. Stuff that's not really healthy for you. That's not healthy for you. So your health. So you want to keep that in mind too. The biggest thing with that I would recommend is to go to a Walmart. Go to a Walmart. It's gonna save you money too, because your biggest expense is gonna be food. Because if you go to a truck stop, right, and you go to a Hardee's, spend $10, do that, let's say 2 times a day, which I only try to eat once a day. But if you are the type to where you eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, multiply that. That's $30 a day. Multiply that times 7, it's over $200. So if you actually go to Walmart, right, and let's say you spend $75, that $75 should get you right for the week, and you can cook in your truck, and you don't have to worry about buying what they have or whatnot. So I recommend, as far as with the health, try to get out the truck, walk around. I said the easiest thing you can kind of do is just, once you're at the shipper or the receiver, walk around the shipping and receiver area. If you've stopped for a break, walk around the truck stop. If you stop for the night, walk around with the truck stop. That's so you can at least get some type of mobility, going on. So you want to move at least 30 minutes. You can use your Apple Watch or whatever type of watch you have to kind of keep up with your steps and keep up with your active amount. Because that's why you see, unfortunately, I see like a lot of truckers, they're just really overweight. Can barely get in and out the truck, right? Especially if you're doing and you'll see that really with driving and reefer. Not so much with flatbed. Not even so much with hazardous fuel, so much, because you do it's shorter trips and you're getting in and out more, so on and so forth. So like I say, your health, which really, that's one of the most important things, is your health, and it ties into what I said before, mental health, and then also your physical health. So that's something that you need to take in mind and take in consideration when you're going to or thinking about going over the road. Also, you'll need to prepare and think about the seasons that you're in. We're going into fall. We're in the fall, going into winter. So you want to be prepared with clothing. Make sure that you not packing up shorts during this time. You want to have long johns. You want to have, clothes to fit the weather. Vice versa, if you're going into spring and summer, you don't want to have long johns. You don't want to have big, heavy coats and just jeans and so on and so forth. So you want to keep in mind and pack accordingly to whatever season it is that you have. So those are just a few things, like I said, as far as preparing for what you need to have, or things that you need to take in consideration when you're going OTR over the road. OTR, I do recommend it for some point. I would say at least 6 months. It's good because you'll get to see, for one, you get to see the United States, and then two, you get to, it gives you a real hands-on, in-depth experience as far as with trucking. Because yeah, you could be local, but how much experience or can you really have going local, going only 200-300 miles, coming back 200-300 miles, coming back? You're only staying within a certain regional area. You're not really seeing the other states, the other weather. You're not getting experience with the weather in Utah and Wyoming and Washington State. You're not dealing with, hypothetically, the traffic in California or traffic in Atlanta. You're not dealing with these type of different variables that you wouldn't get if you were just local. So it is something that I believe is needed and you should do. But like I said, once again, that's up to you as far as if you want to do it, and it's up to you as far as how long you feel like you should do it. Me, like I said, you need to do at least 6 months. I've heard where they say you need to do 3 years. It's to each his own, but I don't really see. Once you start going over the United States, you'll see how small it really is for real, for real. Like, you be like, oh man, I've been to this place before. I've passed by, I've gone to this truck stop. Certain truck stops will become your favorites. You be like, okay, I like to stop here, or mom and pop's places, or I like to stop here for food, and so on and so forth. You'll start to see how small, really that the United States is. And once you start seeing that and stuff starts becoming like familiar as far as places and scenes, is like, you've experienced that. So it's not really too much more to really experience besides, taking the time out in those areas to maybe see it, to see those cities, because I've stopped in Las Vegas and actually experienced Vegas myself, in California, so on and so forth. So that's something that comes along with it. That's a perk. But like I said, once you go to these places, it's kind of like, okay, I've been there, I've done that. So just keep all that in mind when you're thinking about going to, when you think about OTR, you're doing ATRs. I'm sorry, OTR. Yeah, OTR, so over the road. So